one further announcement. As you all know, we have a border bubble that operates on the border with New South Wales. There are 6 reasons where that you can use any of those reasons to move within that border bubble. It's very important, though, that we not only limit movement, but that we have the clearest picture of who is moving within that border bubble. So from 1 p.m. tomorrow, but not enforced until 6 p.m. Friday, people will need to, if they want to use that bubble, they will need to get a permit, and they will need to apply for a permit. It's a relatively straightforward process. We'll be doing lots of communications along those border communities so that people know, but it's not good enough to limit movement. You need to know who's moving. And before anyone says, oh, why would you do that? If this virus can get from Sydney to Byron Bay, to Dubbo, to Armidale, to Tamworth, then only a fool would think that it couldn't get to Albury. It absolutely can, and that's why we need to go beyond just a bubble. We need to have permits so that people can apply once, have their permit, and then we have a clear sense of who is moving within those border towns. Logic tells you there's every chance that it comes to those southern New South Wales communities, and then there's a potential risk to coming into Victoria. We need to have as much information as possible about who is moving in that border bubble. As I said, those permits will be available from tomorrow, but we won't enforce that. We'll give people time to apply. We won't enforce that until 6 o'clock Friday evening. I apologise for any inconvenience, but frankly, the inconvenience of having to get a permit is nothing compared to being locked down or having cases and an outbreak in communities that have never had an outbreak before. The situation in New South Wales is very, very challenging, and with hundreds of cases now, thousands of active cases, and the fact we have seen movement well into regional New South Wales, we have to assume that that is going to be a feature of that New South Wales outbreak for some time. All in all, I'd love to be standing here announcing that we're coming out of lockdown this coming Thursday. That is simply not possible. We need to go until next Thursday. That is the public health advice. There are too many cases, and too many cases the origins of which are not clear to us. Too many unanswered questions, too many mysteries for us to safely come out of lockdown now. This is working, though. It is more than containing cases. To have 14 of those 20 locked away in ISO, no risk to public health. As I said earlier in the week, that trend would grow. We started with 1 case, then we moved to 4 or 5. Now we're at 14. That percentage is growing, and it will continue to. But some of these new cases today, and the potential chains of transmission that sit behind them, and the fact that we are getting further mysteries, not just the original 2 mystery cases, but further mystery cases, that is a real concern to us. That's why I can only appeal again, every Victorian, whether you're in Melbourne or in regional Victoria, if you've got symptoms, get tested, and don't delay an hour, let alone 3 or 4 days. Please go and get tested today. We'll get your results tomorrow, and then we'll protect you and look after you and support you no matter what the outcome of that test is.